So over the course of this series, I've done a lot of really big episodes, but this one's gonna take the cake. Because I've decided that I want to start off the brand new year with a brand new season of the Survival Kingdom world, which means we're gonna be moving into the next step of our operation for the kingdom inside of the Mountain Valley. However, in order to do that, we first off need to finish up the port, which means we have 2 episodes to get it done. It's a big boy project, and we have a lot of work to do, so let's get started. And I actually think the place that I want to start is the project that we were working on in the last episode. We were going to make this dark fortress over here behind our light tower, and I really like this project. I do. I like the direction I was going with it. However, I'm thinking of changing it just a bit because right now it's very pretty. Yeah, very pretty. I want it to be more like a ruins. So I think overall the plan is going to remain similar. I'm going to go ahead and build out the entire fortress as I would to do a finalized build, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna wreck this thing. So I started expanding the fortress on the left side by following along the cliff. This is going to be the main boundary that we have for the fortress over to the left. Then after I was done with that, I decided that the front wall just looked a little bit bare, so I decided to add a backer to the front wall, and we'll end up making something out of this room in the future. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and continue expanding by making a barracks building in the background. And this is a very, very large build. It's going to be able to house a lot of soldiers, and I may have made it a little bit too big, but that's fine. It ended up turning out pretty well. But while I was working on this, everything started to look a little bit samey. I was using black stone bricks for basically everything, and turns out it needed something to break it up. So I decided to introduce some deep slate bricks, and I'm using this as a upper gradient. So basically, we're going to have black stone bricks toward the bottom, and then deep slate bricks towards the top of the entire fortress. And it's really going to, show itself off a little bit later on, but as we add in these deep slate bricks, you're going to see the contrast is just a lot better across the entire build. And you'll see that toward the end. You'll really start to see exactly what I mean by it looked samey, and now it looks like it's gradienting upward as you move your eye upward across the build. It's very, very nice, very subtle, but I like that subtle change. After that, I decided to expand even further backward and add a large courtyard toward the back of the entire fortress, and this is going to be our main courtyard. It's going to be our training grounds, it's going to be our archery grounds, and there's going to be a lot of room there. And we also still have one pretty big build to add back here in the future. After that expansion, though, I actually decided to have a little bit of fun, and I once again went and worked on the left side wall, and I added in a couple of towers, but I also added in kind of an elytra launching point on the corner here. And I don't really know why. We're not really airbenders here. We're not going to be jumping off of the fortress, but it just felt right at the time that I was making this. Just a ledge that you can jump down into the water below or escape with an elytra. It just seems so fitting that I couldn't pass it up on this perfect angle. And last but not least, on the right side, I added in one last tower in order to make this corner. And now we're ready for the big boy. So you know the memes of like, oh, the worst thing ever is to step on a Lego or something like that, right? I found something worse. Go chop a mangrove tree. Like, I swear, whenever they were developing this thing, they were like, how can we make this as torturous as possible? Yes, that is what we need. So next time on your server, just tell somebody, you know what? I hope you have to chop mangrove trees. I'm just kidding. Be nice to your friends. But anyway, I digress. And this build, it's looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even sure that I still want to go with the whole ruined theme that I was thinking about doing, because it's pretty epic, especially whenever you're walking through here. It doesn't seem that big whenever you're watching through the replay mod footage, but actually walking, everything's huge. Everything's huge. It's so cool. It's so cool. I'm excited for it. However, this entire build, it's still missing one big piece de resistance here at the back. We need to do a pretty mega keep. So I do have some general plans for this keep, and basically towers. Towers and a large main building right down the center going at a diagonal, because this hill kind of goes diagonally toward our lighthouse, and I think positioning this at that diagonal is going to look really cool. So a lot of diagonal buildings going to go on here, but I think that's okay. I really like building at diagonals anyway, so I think it'll work. And then I also still really want to somehow tie in this cave that's around back here that goes out toward the front of our port. And I think the way that I'm going to do that is tie this in as some type of mine or something like that, probably with red crystals inside of it. So make this entire area just like a red crystal mine, and then out the back of our keep we can have like a pulley system that's pulling up those red crystals out of the mine itself. I think that would be a really cool idea, to have the keep, the headquarters of power and all of that, actually be extracting out the power crystals from underneath the ground. I just like that idea, and I'm gonna try and implement it. Now, if this isn't considered a cool build, I don't know what is. This thing is awesome. I absolutely love how this keep came out. And while the main pieces of the fortress are done, we still have some smaller pieces to get in. For instance, a lot of these walls could definitely use some texturing. And we also have some spaces that could definitely fit a building. And just in case you guys are wondering how long this has taken, I'm at 20 hours of just building. That's not counting resource collecting. So if you do feel so inclined to hit that like button, it would be very much appreciated. And last but certainly not least, we need ourselves some noble steeds. Alrighty, buddy, your new home is right this way. It is a little cold, I'm not going to lie, but that's okay. You're sure to like it eventually. I forgot to close up underneath those stairs. There we go, all nice and cozy, 3 little buddies. And you know, normally I'm far too lazy to do interiors of builds. However, today, I'm gonna make an exception. I mean, it's still a fortress, so I'm going to keep it pretty bare bones, but I can spruce it up a little bit in here. And our dark fortress is now totally complete, equipped with a blacksmith ready to make armor for the war effort. We also have an armory up on the front wall so any of our combatants can quickly re-gear themselves. And just for an added bit of lore, the area that we're in right now looks a little bit barren, but there's actually good reason for this. In between our blacksmith and our armory, this open area is essentially a kill box. What would happen in medieval times is whenever a siege were to get through the main gate, they would be faced with a secondary gate. And basically all the soldiers rush in thinking that they have access to the fortress just to be shut down once again. And up on these high walls, archers would just rain down fire onto the besieging enemy. And yeah, this would basically just end up being a field of bodies. Kind of dark, but I thought it was fitting for this build. So heading into the first courtyard, and I wanted things to feel very open, so I added in a small cooking area over to the left in case any of the soldiers needed to cook anything, and then I also added some outdoor campfires for them to sit around, tell stories, and just hang out in between their training sessions. We also have the stables that I've already shown off, and then this right here is the barracks. Now, like I said, for the barracks, I tried to keep things relatively simple. However, there is definitely a ranking system here at this fortress. So first off, we have a open fireplace area where people can hang out, relax, maybe late at night, chill out, talk around the fire, maybe have some snacks, things like that. And then we have the lower rank quarters. These are all of the soldiers who are in the lower ranks. These are not your commanders or your generals. These are your plebs. These are your guys who are, new to the fortress. Maybe they're just now earning their keep. Then it's kind of dark and grungy back there. And, maybe the gray is the most entry-level rank and the black is the, upper rank. Or maybe the vice versa. Maybe the black is the lowest rank and the gray is people who are a little bit higher up. But anyway, if we go ahead and head up the stairs, you'll see that we now have the white beds, which indicates people who are a little bit higher rank. Somebody who is, been here a little while, still not a general or anything, but somebody who can definitely hold their own inside of the fortress. And something I actually forgot, I don't have access up to that wall. Let me fix that real quick. Even your most experienced builders sometimes forget things. There we go, this wall is now accessible. Anyway, leaving out of the barracks, we're going to go back into the first courtyard, and we're going to head up the main staircase. However, before we go up there, I do want you to notice that even once an enemy gets past this second gateway, they're once again still in trouble because I've essentially funneled them into another large kill box. I've put another ledge right here where archers can rain down arrows from here, from the outer wall, and from behind them. Once again, they are boxed in and trapped, and they're all going to be rushing toward this staircase. This is how I'm funneling these people in, and it's kind of cool. I try to use a little bit of strategy here whenever I actually put together this fortress. But if we go ahead and head up the staircase, this is the last courtyard. And as you can see, we have an archery training area over here to our right where our soldiers will practice their archery skills since it's going to be a pretty major part of our defenses here. We also have a booth where people can get their bows restrung, their crossbows restrung, or even some more arrows. We also have some picnic tables out here for the soldiers to have lunch. I also have some more of those over on that side there. And then here, we actually have a training area. This is where they will go through their forms. This is where they'll practice combat. It's basically a big, large gravel pit for them to fight and, train. Get ready for the coming attackers that will surely come for this magnificent fortress. And then last but not least, we have ourselves the piece de resistance, the headquarters. And right out front, we have a nice podium with a big bell where these guys can stand up here and oversee both the training area, the archery area, and also give out orders to anybody that they see. Absolutely awesome. I really like the addition of this little podium stand here. I think that it's a nice touch. And last but not least, we head into the headquarters. This is where the generals will stay, and these are the guys who are in charge of the entire army that stays here. But they're also in charge of the power crystals. These guys are the ones that wielded the power crystals in order to make an extremely strong society here. They are the ones who built from nothing and made an entire fortress, and eventually our kingdom over on the other side of the river. Remember, this fortress is currently uninhabitable because of the lighthouse out back that is just absolutely shaking this place to death. But we have quite a bit here in this area. We have a map of the area where they can use it to kind of game plan, kind of figure out where they're going to attack or defend the area. And then I also have some armor stands here that kind of look like chess pieces that they can like place down on the map in order to say, oh, we're gonna put this battalion here and these guys over here and archers up here and they're gonna fire down. I don't know, I thought it was a cool little touch. So anyway, we also have these guys' beds. They're just kind of stuck in a tower because, well, I really don't need to get up into these towers, but it's very menacing, so, you know, the towers are needed for the scare factor, but they're really just holding beds. But you may be asking yourself, where are the power crystals coming from? Well, if we head up these water elevators up at the back, you will see that we have a mining operation in which we have already extracted a massive crystal from the earth. How did this even fit through this hole? I'm not entirely sure. It's magic or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and head down. Oh boy, that is some power crystal being brought up there. And some more power crystal being brought up here on this pulley system. And all the way down here at the bottom, we have ourselves the Crystal Cave. This is the very first deposit of power crystal ever found for the kingdom, and as you can tell, it's very stripped away. There's not a lot of the red power crystal left, but there's enough. But I think that nobody's gonna be getting this power crystal because that lighthouse that's on top of there makes this a place that is not easy to get to. And that, my friends, is the Dark Fortress build. What do you think of this build? I think it came out absolutely amazing. It has so much lore built into it, from the crystals to all of the ways that I position the fortress so that there are kill boxes and things like that. I absolutely love it. And with this being the end of the episode, what do you guys think? Oh, I think it was absolutely amazing. And honestly, I can't wait to finish off the rest of the port. This was an awesome side project, but one that I think it is time to close. And next episode is the finale, the absolute total and complete finale of season 1 of the Survival Kingdom episode, which means we are going to go out with an absolute bang. So if you're new here, be sure you're subscribed. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day. Oh, this was a big episode. I love it, though. It came out great. Now, for an even bigger task.